Welcome to today's MI tip. I'm happier than a leprechaun bathing in a pot of gold because today we are exploring some special flavors of reflections we can use in our motivational interviewing conversations, the simile and metaphor types of reflections. So rewind your mind and think back to when you first learned about similes and metaphors in school. A simile is when you make an association or a comparison. When I wear my Hoka running shoes, I feel like I'm walking on clouds. A metaphor is an even stronger way to evoke the association, where you drop the like or the it's as if, and the thing that you're describing literally transforms into something else. For example, my son was a beast on the field today, pouncing on the ball and never letting it get past him. Similes and metaphors are memorable. They stick with you in your mind's eye. Any fans of the show Ted Lasso will recall some of his very poignant quips, many of which come alive due to use of metaphor. Here are some of my favorites. Taking on a challenge is a lot like riding a horse, isn't it? If you're comfortable while you're doing it, you're probably doing it wrong. I do love a locker room. It smells like potential. You beating yourself up is like Woody Allen playing the clarinet. I don't want to hear it. How is this relevant to motivational interviewing and wellness coaching? Why would we even want to use a simile or metaphor type of reflection? Well, there's a number of reasons. We use reflections in the form of you statements to demonstrate to the person that we're coaching our understanding of their point of view. A simile or a metaphor type reflection can be a really powerful way to convey empathy and also to potentially cultivate change talk. And demonstrating empathy is crucial because chances are the person you're coaching isn't going to be open or receptive to the change process until they've been heard and understood, especially if they're stressed out and overwhelmed, which is more than likely going to be the case since they're reaching out for help with making changes. And when a person is stressed and overwhelmed, it may be harder for them to access the problem-solving part of their brain. They're trapped in the emotional part. It's as if they're trapped in quicksand and they can't feel the solid ground underneath them until you acknowledge their experience of the quicksand. Ah, see what I did there? The cool thing about a simile or a metaphor type reflection is that it can also activate the creative part of the brain, creating a beautiful and relevant distraction or transition, much like when you scoop up a crying child, wrap them in a warm blanket, and offer them a hot cup of cocoa. See what I did there again? So let's look at some examples in the following coaching conversation. When I'm stressed and overwhelmed, there's no space between a trigger and my reaction, and everything feels like impending doom. I find myself snapping at people, and then I regret it after the fact. It feels beyond your control, instinctual, like how a mama bear might react in protecting her cubs. That's exactly it. That mama bear comes out to defend and attack. So what is it, if anything, that helps your mama bear to retract her claws and enjoy the taste of honey? Well, that is like the million-dollar question. Would you like to take a moment to do some brainstorming around that? Here's another one. When I try to eat healthy, I can do it for a little while, and eventually I'll start to crave something sweet. So I might cave in and have a nibble, and from there it just builds, and I usually end up overeating. It's like a little stumble turns into an unstoppable landslide. That's it. I wish I could just enjoy sweets in moderation. You'd like to build some reinforcements into your lifestyle so that a little detour doesn't turn into you tumbling off the road. 100%. So let's flex our creativity muscles with some practice. Here are some examples that I invite you to craft a simile or metaphor type reflection from. Let's see how many variations we can collectively come up with. I'm brimming with anticipation like a child on Christmas morning. So, it's been a tricky last couple of weeks. Unfortunately, my youngest came down with COVID, so I had to take time off to care for him. Meanwhile, my mom fell and broke her hip. Also, I was reassigned to a new department at work, and that's been a huge readjustment. In terms of my goals, I was probably only about 25% successful. Here's another example to practice with. What I really want is to have some healthy systems in place so that healthy eating and exercise is just part of my routine. Right now, it feels like such an effort and it takes up so much space in my mind, it feels like a struggle. So again, looking forward to those responses. And I'd also love to know, when is it that you find yourself using simile or metaphor type reflections in your practice? And how have they typically been received by the folks that you're coaching? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll look forward to connecting again soon with another motivational interviewing tip.